And today we're going to dive into what I like to call an oracular astrology reading for the winter solstice. And as most of you I'm sure know, that we've just passed this new moon solar eclipse in Sagittarius from December 4th. And I'm wondering if anyone else here is having eclipse whiplash after this epic portal. Yes. And whoa, it was really the final act in this almost 2 years of eclipses in Gemini and Sagittarius before we move into the nodes shifting into the North Node in Taurus and South Node in Scorpio in mid-January and 2022. And that's when we're going to begin 18 months of eclipses in those signs. And so what I'm really seeing is that our ecstatic embodiment and our sacred pleasure power are going to be key themes in 2022 for the collective. And Taurus is really about our embodiment and matter and resources and that which is tangible and physical and 3D. And so I'm so grateful that we have Koya as such a profound Taurian embodiment practice for this time. And it's one of the reasons that we dance it monthly in our Soul Sparkle Sanctuary Inner Circle community. It's why we gather here in Lore, and it's really such a potent practice to help root us in these energies, regardless of whatever is to come. And so imminently we have Venus going into retrograde that's approaching next weekend, as well as the full moon in Gemini, followed right up by the solstice. So we have yet another portal that we're going to be moving into. And for those in the northern hemisphere, it's the winter solstice, and it's a potent time of really going within and taking pause, but it's also a time of returning of the light. And in a lot of ways, the oracle, the Sacred Revolution Oracle, is about returning of the light, because I'm really on a mission to co-create a constellation of millions of star beings, which they're sparkling on the inside, that are really flooding the house of humanity with light, love, and healing, and that are sparkling shamelessly for the good of all. And that's what this oracle really helps us to do. So I feel like we are really being set up in a way as we move through this winter solstice to not only have a return of the light cosmically and all around us, but also a return to our own light, our own essence, our own truth, and to be able to bring that forward into 2022 in a deeply ecstatic, embodied way. So really stepping into and igniting our full revolutionary potential and letting our unique light shine. And so we're going to be tuning in today to the Sacred Revolution Oracle around what it is that we need to know as we are moving through this winter solstice, Venus retrograde, full moon in Gemini portal that is approaching, to really help set us up as we move through that threshold time into 2022 to really be and become more of who we are in our truth, in our essence, in our wise, wild, and free selves. So that's really what we're going to be tuning into. And so we're going to go into the reading as I normally would do a one-on-one intuitive astrology reading or oracular astrology reading. And we're going to set sacred space by sounding. And then I'm going to go into really holding this inquiry and invite you to hold the inquiry with me as I choose the cards for us. And I'm feeling called to choose 3 cards today for us to journey and dive into. So I want to invite you here to begin by just closing your eyes and take a few long, deep inhales and exhales. And on the exhale, I invite you to audibly release anything that isn't serving you in this moment and this sacred medicine space that we are entering into together. Maybe even shake it out of your body, releasing it, letting it go, so that you can come fully present here now in this sacred, holy moment. Letting it all out. Calling in our benevolent, unconditionally loving angels, ancestors, and guides, and all those benevolent beings that wish to be here holding this sacred medicine space, so that only the highest and best wisdom can come through at this time for our soul's journey, for the revolutionary and evolutionary journey we are on together. Seeing them surrounding this holy medicine space now like rings in an ancient oak tree, holding space for this transmission of cosmic wisdom to come through now. So inviting us here to place a hand on our heart and a hand on our energetic womb space, knowing that regardless of our gender, we all have this energetic womb space. And to really feel into that inquiry of what is the wisdom that we need to know now to step through this full moon, Venus retrograde, solstice portal together into 2022. What is going to support us the most as we step through this portal into the new year, so that we can shine our full light now, bring forward our full, wise, wild, and free essence, and be who we came here to be now. And inviting you to hold that question in your heart as I begin to shuffle the cards, just tuning into that inquiry. What is it that we most need to know now as a collective, as a beloved community, to be able to move forward into this new year, fully empowered in our light, in our essence, in our radiance. Okay, I'm calling and inviting in now that higher wisdom as we consult the oracle, Sacred Revolution Oracle. Okay, let's see what magic and medicine has come through for us here. Okay. So I'm going to share the cards with you first so that you can take in the visual transmission and really just allow the cosmic codes to wash over you. So the first card that came through is 34. And this is the Galactic Gaia Unity Consciousness card. So just soaking in that medicine, the Galactic Gaia Unity Consciousness. The next card that came through was 19, which is Transmute in the Flames. And this card was actually created at Akoya retreats back in, I think, 2017 when I was leading Your Soul's Calling collage. So transmute in the flames. And then 39. This is the vibrational, pulsing light web of creation. So just allowing yourself to take in the numbers, the transmission, the energy, the colors, the medicine. And then I'll begin to weave the story of what I see here in the cards. And of course, if you have the deck, tune into your own internal wisdom. You can read the guidebook descriptions. When I offer readings, they're often quite different than what's in the guidebook, since that was all channeled at a very specific moment. So really allow yourself to tune into your own wisdom as well as I share what's coming through in the transmission. And of course, if you don't have your deck yet, you can go get it at LainieLoveDolby.com. There's only 30 left, so jump on it if you don't have one yet and you feel the call.
Totally get one. Highly recommended.
All right, so what I'm seeing here, which is so beautiful, and I love that this card showed up in our reading because this feels like a seed of hope, a seed of what we are moving towards, a seed of what we are co-creating together in this vibrational pulsing light web. We are weaving new stories like Grandmother Spider that are leading us back home to that Gaia unity consciousness, to that remembrance that we are one, that we are connected to all that is, that, you know, the whole essence of the Sacred Revolution Oracle is about returning home and igniting a revolution of love and reverence for the body, for the earth, for each other, and this web of all life. And this is really a symbol of that energy, of what happens when we lean in, when we come back to that sacredness, when we come back to that remembrance of our oneness, that we can blossom, that we can thrive, that we can truly step into the full rainbow, vibrant, holographic essence of who we are and who we're here to be. And together that we are weaving these stories that are going to help birth and really co-create this new earth. There's this sort of earth that is emerging out of the shadows. There's a little tiny jaguar down here at the bottom, and jaguar is the medicine of the shadow. And so we are truly birthing this new paradigm out of the old, out of the shadow, through this portal, and we are weaving webs with our words. The spider is also a writer, and it's casting spells with how we speak, with our thoughts, what we intend, what we bring forward. And in that, we are truly co-creating a whole new cosmic manifestation of what can be through the medicine of the peacock, which is deep alchemy, alchemical healing. So that's where I see this card coming in. We are alchemically transmuting in the flames what no longer serves us now. We are truly burning up the old paradigm. We are burning up old ways of working, old ways of being, old ways and old stories that are no longer serving us, that have kept us mirrored in that story of separation and of greed and of illusion. And so we are breaking free of that with the element of fire, which transmutes very quickly. For those of you that know the practice of the despacho and the different ways of releasing the despacho, the fire is one of the quickest ways to transmute, whereas if we bury it, it's very slow in the earth that it decays. And if we send it in water, it flows with ease and grace. And you know, this is an opportunity here I see as we move through this portal, because the full moon is a time of release. So as we move through the full moon in Gemini energies, we can truly release what is no longer serving, burn that up in a full moon fire, and truly allow it to transmute so that we can come into and birth this new world together, that we can create together in this vibrational web this new galactic Gaia unity consciousness, this true homecoming to who we are and who we have always been and whose we are, and to remember that we are all emanations divine of the divine holograph. We are holographic emanations of the divine, and to really return home to that in our truth and in who we are, and, you know, really coming home to that essence, to that remembrance, which is so much of why we gather, why we dance. Koya is to remember through movement. And so really enhancing and bringing forward these energies. And I also see this energy here because there's that fierce feminine feline. And I love the fierce feminine feline energy, not only because the feline is really allowing and letting out that sacred roar, and especially that sacred no of what is no longer working. So really getting clear about what is no longer working, especially with this Venus retrograde, and especially as we're moving into the nodes in Taurus, what is no longer working for you on the realm of the physical body, of resources, of tangible matter, of ways that you are showing up and working in the world and sustaining yourself. So really looking at and putting a fierce sacred no on what is no longer serving you in those realms. What is no longer serving your health, your well-being, your connection to your essence, to your wild feminine truth, to your power. What is no longer serving that you can truly, really bring out your sacred roar and say no. to really claim that and to claim a new way forward and to speak and intend and to weave spells with your words of what it is that you are calling forward now as we walk into 2022. What new ways of being, new ways of interacting with your embodiment, new ways of being with your resources and feeling and being resourced in your body and in your being are going to support you so that together we can really co-create this energy, this galactic Gaia unity consciousness, this remembrance. There's so many old ways of being from the patriarchal paradigm. I've just started reading the Patriarchy Stress Disorder book, and it's so deeply resonant with this energy of burning up these old ways of being, especially for female-bodied people that have made us to feel worth less, that have made us to feel that we are not enough, and that no matter what we do, how much we produce, how much we show up, that it's never enough. And so really coming back to that sense of our enoughness and saying no to those ways of being that are keeping us from that truth of our worthiness, of our equality, of our oneness with all that is. And, coming into a sacred partnership, the divine feminine coming into sacred partnership with the divine masculine to be able to co-create together in this pulsing light web, the new world that we want to see, the new world that we want to live in, the new world that is supportive to who we are, to our being, to our essence, to our truth, to our soul, that doesn't pillage our capacities to be who we are, and that doesn't shame us for being in our truth and our power. And so really using this full moon as an opportunity to burn away what no longer serves, to bring that sacred no, so that as we move into 2022, we can co-create with our sacred holy hell yes, that ecstatic embodied yes that you feel in every cell of your body and your being, that just brings you alive because it is your truth. And allowing yourself to create from that place and that core overarching truth of our oneness and our unity, that connection to all that is, to the body, to the earth, to each other, to the cosmos, that we are so intricately interwoven with it all. That's why she's here, Grandmother Spider, weaving in the universe. We are intimately connected to the stars, to the moon, to the planets, to Mama Gaia. And that as we return and come home to that truth and to that remembrance, we step into more of our innate truth. We step into more of our capacity to be wildly and unapologetically alive, which is the core of all the work I do in the world and in the Ecstatic Embodied Leadership Academy that partnered with me around this deck to really allow this to be a deep manifestation of our true power and potential, and our sovereignty and a remembrance of all we are and all we're here to be. And so that's really what I'm seeing here is coming through in these cards. And, I love that in both of these cards, there's this presence of the flowers, because it feels like we're in a time now of blossoming into a whole new way of being. And even though it seems incredibly challenging, and there's all these things in the 3D and in the matrix that we're like, what is actually happening right now? And so much is falling away, and so many old ideas and beliefs about the nature of reality even. And we are blossoming into a new version, not only of self, but a new version of the collective, a new version of humanity, which I see and believe Alberto Villoldo talks about this as homo luminous. We are stepping into a whole new version of ourselves as a species where we live from that place of light, that our actual crystalline bodies become infused with a whole new level of light, and that we are able to emanate that out into the world for the greater good as we co-create this new earth. And in a lot of ways, I believe that the new earth idea that people talk about, it's the Garden of Eden. It's heaven on earth here now. It's collective thriving for all. And as we are able to come together and co-create, part of that is offering our unique medicine, our unique essence, our unique nutrient that we have to offer the ecosystem into that so that we can collectively thrive. And so as we say no to what is no longer serving, we are able to step into the fullness of what it is that we're actually here to be bringing, what our unique medicine and nutrient is for the ecosystem. And as we slough off and shed like the snake all that is no longer serving, because there is that serpent here down at the bottom, we must shed these old ways of being. We must shed that old skin that is no longer serving so that we can truly step into the fullness and co-create together this new world and this essence and remembrance of galactic Gaia unity consciousness that we are truly here to bring. And I pulled a clarifying card as we were going because I felt we might want it. And I want to bring it in now because it's card 22. It's the Star-Seated Children of the Earth card. And again, there's serpent medicine here, but this card is deeply connected to the essence of, whether we came from the stars, wherever we came from. There's lots of different lineages and origin stories around that. The grandmother spider weaves and tells us that we are here on earth. We are children of the earth. We are stewards of the earth. And we all belong to our original ancestor, the Divine Mother, Mama Gaia. And this card has a lot of triple goddess energy in it, the mother, the maiden, the crone, wherever you are on the journey, that deep remembrance that we belong here. This is our home. Our body is our home. This embodiment that we chose, and to truly anchor in our wisdom, our light, and to walk as love in the world. It's the core essence of this card. So really walking as love as we move forward into 2022 and expressing our gifts, our medicine as an act of love and devotion, as an act of service to those who need us most. And really allowing that to be part of the medicine that anchors us in to this new raising of consciousness into galactic Gaia unity consciousness. As we shed, as we let go, as we burn away and transmute in the alchemical flames what is no longer serving us in the collective, we truly can step into this new way of being, which is actually just a remembrance. It isn't new, it's new for us now, but remembering and coming back home. And for those of you who do follow astrology, the Pluto return of the US may or may not be starting next year or within the next couple of years, but that is a deep time of transmuting in the flames the old paradigm and any remaining aspects of that patriarchal paradigm that no longer serves because it's Pluto retrograde in Capricorn. And the beautiful thing about Capricorn is that it is the wise elder, but it's also big business and patriarchy, depending on if you're leaning into the pop culture interpretation or the more ancient interpretation. So I believe that we have this opportunity to step in with the energy of the wise elder, and especially ancient goddess wisdom and wisdom that is deeply rooted in the earth. So that, indigenous ways of life paths and ways of being, and remembering our own capacity to be medicine keepers, to be wise elders that are helping to steward and co-create this journey together as we move, as we dance in that pulsing vibrational light web of creation together, bringing forward this new, profound galactic Gaia unity consciousness. And returning home to that truth of who we've been and who we are here to be. And I feel like I want to close actually with the poem that comes along with this card. And this poem was actually written in Costa Rica at one of our collective retreats together for Koya. And so I really want to share it with you as a way of anchoring in this energy and this homecoming, because it really feels like, as we move into the Taurus North Node next year, that's our collective destiny, that North Node. And so there's a collective destiny element of us coming into our full embodiment, of coming home here on Earth, of coming into the reality of us, whether we come from the stars or not, as Earth beings. And really coming into our earth suit And for me, I feel like it's going to be about sacred pleasure power. So having it feel good, having this embodiment feel delicious and ecstatic and being lit up here in this earth suit that we chose to come into at this time, and letting that truly ignite us into the fullness of who we are and who we're here to be. And so I'm going to read this card because it just anchors that in so beautifully. There's not a lot of poems in the guidebook, but this is one of the poems that comes in the sort of divinatory and oracular meaning. And so I want to invite you here to just receive this medicine. Just close your eyes and allow it to wash over you. So it's the Star-Seated Children of the Earth card. You called to my heart. Come home, my sweet daughter of the earth. I fell to you weeping in gratitude and silent prayer, connecting umbilical cord and bone with breath and stone. You helped me to remember my vow, my vessel, this moment. Together we breathed deep with passion and pura vida into each other, merging as one and the same. Like the ancient chant, earth my body, water my blood, air my breath, and fire my spirit. On repeat, we flow together in harmony and unison, forever dancing a sacred tango of existence and remembrance. The heart of the matter is that I am you and you are me. Animal, stone, mineral, bone, making love to your winds, entwined in ecstatic bliss. My heart burst fully open like an erupting volcano with pure love and cosmic vastness. Power surging up my spine, every cell pulsing and alive with sun, moon, and stars kissing my body hello all over. The truth of my full soul essence as radiant, sparkling sustenance. Beaded sweat falling sweetly, I felt, I knew, and I owned all of me. Your breeze licked my cheek, whispering softly and seductively, you are here. You are home. Welcome, my sweet. So just inviting you to allow that to wash over you, and that invitation to step in with this Venus retrograde, with this portal we're moving through, to allow all of life, to allow yourself to be almost in an erotic relationship with all of life. Let it bring you alive. Let the breeze kiss and lick your face. Let each moment in this embodied state, in this body, be precious as we move into this new year. Let it truly light you up and ignite you and help you to remember that you are a star-seated child of the earth, and that as we come together and co-create in this pulsing web of creation, that we truly can return home to galactic Gaia unity consciousness, to that remembrance. And as we move forward to continue to transmute in the flames all that no longer serves us, especially as we move through this full moon portal, get really clear, what do you need to release that is not serving you and your embodiment, in your resources, in your relationships, so that you can truly move forward into 2022 and walk as love in all you do, and emanate and bring that forward so that your entire life can become a living prayer and a gift. So that is the transmission that is wanting to come through today, beloveds, and would love to hear how that is resonating for you, and in the chat here, in the comments, and to really allow us to be in a co-creation together, because that's truly what's happening. We are co-creating this new earth. That is the Aquarian age, is all about collaboration and cooperation and coming together in community to really bring heaven on earth and galactic Gaia unity consciousness back. So Loving you all so much and this opportunity to be here together today.